from their families. Ladies and gentlemen, my next speaker actually needs no introduction, but since I have the floor, I will make a brief attempt to introduce our next honored speaker. His name is Dr. Akbar S Ahmed. Dr. Akbar is a renowned author, academician, and a former diplomat. He currently holds IBN Khuldoon Chair at American University, I beg your pardon, Ibn Khuldoon Chair at American University in Washington. Saudi Gazette has lauded him as perhaps the most influential living authority on contemporary Muslim societies. Sir, you have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ambassador Raja Ali Jaz. I want to thank you for inviting me to this overlooked, marginalized subject that is the situation in Kashmir, and for convening this very important conference and inviting such a glittering panel. I'll jump into my brief presentation by giving you 3 points. 3 points with 3 big ideas. I've been hearing the debate and the discussion. It's very moving, very powerful, but we are often overlooking that this problem cannot be solved or eased without the involvement of India itself. And I don't mean the simple pressures that are being put on it and it's not responding. I want to go back and remind Indian authors, scholars, well-wishers, diplomats of the roots of Indian culture itself. Go back thousands of years to ancient India and to the concepts of Shanti, that is peace, or Ahimsa, that is non-violence, Shama, forgiveness, Sevak, duty. These are very powerful concepts, and in time when Islam came to the subcontinent, there were additional concepts like Adl, justice, Ilm, knowledge, Ahsan, or compassion, and of course the 2 great features or virtues of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is Rahman and Rahim. Now, when you take these concepts, you ask yourself, why are they not being applied to Kashmir? It's one of the mysteries of the situation to me as a scholar studying this region and very passionately believing in these concepts for South Asia, for all South Asians, irrespective of their religion or culture. Why are they not being applied to the people of Kashmir, where we hear stories of rape and lynching and murder, which are heartbreaking. And they are heartbreaking because that is the reality today. And Vishal very, very graphically pointed this out to us. So that this famous region, which the Mughal emperors, who loved this entire region and its culture and its people, and called it paradise on earth, has today become hell on earth. And by the way, I'm quoting Indian human rights activists. So this is a real problem. It has to be challenged and converted, but I believe it needs to be challenged and converted with an engagement with the scholars and academics and intellectuals on the other side, on the Indian side. And I don't think that is happening sufficiently or sufficiently vigorously. My second point concerns the region, Kashmir. Very often in our discussion, it's come up even today when we talk about Kashmir, we talk about the 2 nuclear powers, that is India and Pakistan, facing off in Kashmir and therefore creating a very dangerous situation. The assumption is that somehow there may be a nuclear exchange if things get out of hand. And I don't see how that's going to be avoided, considering the amount of hatred that has been created and the momentum and the threats we just heard about it to Pakistan of being wiped out by nuclear exchange and so on. If that happens, we need to stop and consider it is not 2 nuclear powers interested or involved in Kashmir, it is 4 nuclear powers. After the skirmish between China and India on the Himalayan frontier, you have China now involved in the Kashmir theater, and because of its alignment with India, you have the United States. That is 4 nuclear powers directly or indirectly involved in Kashmir. That is an untenable and a very dangerous situation. I think really Pakistani diplomats have to emphasize how dangerous the situation is, not just in terms of India-Pakistan, but in terms of the planet which we all share. And as a grandfather, for me, every child, every grandchild is very, very precious, because that is precisely how one community perpetuates itself and continues into the future. You cannot jeopardize the entire planet and its future simply because we can't resolve this particular problem. My third point deals with our Saudi friends, and I was very moved to hear the ambassador talk about the deep friendship that they have with Pakistan. And it's a very moving relationship, and I was particularly moved when His Royal Highness said to the Prime Minister of Pakistan that I will be the ambassador for Pakistan. It's a very, very warm gesture, very affectionate gesture. I believe that this is the time for the Saudis, considering their importance in the Muslim world especially, considering that they have a very powerful impact and presence both in Delhi and Islamabad, for them to use this enormous goodwill, this enormous relationships and network of relationships to move these two countries, Pakistan and India, closer together. And the first thing they have to do is to pull off the pressure on Kashmir so ordinary people can live ordinary lives without their houses being blown up, their women being raped, their young men being blinded or tortured or killed. This is a role that the Saudis can play. And considering their role within the world of Islam, considering that their religion, Islam, and as a Muslim I speak this, it's motivated by those two great names, Rahman and Rahim. So this is what should motivate them, apart from the fact that this will be a great service to humanity. I would go back to thanking my friend, Ambassador Ali Jaz, for organizing this very important session and for inviting me. I hope you don't mind my sharing some thoughts which are basically those of an academic looking at the situation and feeling really dismay, frustration, and even some anguish. So we really would want, sitting on campus, to be able to resolve this issue. And we wish you well, we wish you good wishes, and we pray for you that you succeed in this mission. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your very valued contributions. I would call them thought-provoking, particularly when you said that we should not see just 2 nuclear powers, we should see 4 nuclear powers. Indeed, it raises the level of the dispute to a new height, I would put it that way. Sir, you had mentioned about the Saudi role in this dispute that continues to linger between India and Pakistan. Allow me to assure you and all my valued participants in this program that the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, our brothers of Saudi Arabia, have always been forthcoming to Pakistan, for Pakistan in this cause. They have left no stone unturned in offering and conveying their full support to Pakistan, to the